As Case found out today.
One gripe I have with the artistic community in general, just insofar as like proof and purchase of their egotism, is the fact that they have married the concept of ego with documentation. So a lot of people will resist documentation because they're afraid that it's an expression of their ego. That ego got involved with documentation at all to me.
I mean, I don't have any bias against documentation, but I will say the one thing I've noticed is that those moments, those photographs or situations I would have taken pictures of, are stronger in my mind when I don't take pictures of them than when I do.
Well, that's sometimes for you.
Well, like think about it, like there's 4 different types, right? So say when a king documents, he documents because of ego, power, PR, like these things, right? When somebody documents a culture because it's like dying out, that's, you know, when somebody documents, you know, because they're arrogant, yeah? And then there's the documentation, there was the 4th one.
Personal, just building your own narrative, and right. I think they're actually expressions of very similar things. But I think there's something. Somebody was saying to me like, "What's the point? I'm not going to document this," and I said, when I have questions today about documentation, whether that's important, I want us all to start reading medical research books, because if those motherfuckers didn't document, a lot of us would be dead. Like how would they have figured out, like they have to look at all the blood levels and things like to figure out the medications and
how much is lost when we change a computer program and we don't know how to use
right?
the old one.
It's not for us, it's for the next
frustrating
person.
Medium.
And so it's always dying. It's a bunch of little creatures that we decide we don't like in a year, and so we throw them away and get new ones. It's that we're choosing whether this creature lives or dies. It's this computer, we decide whether it is worth something or
I think
nothing.
if you let go, if you just created the computer and then like whatever a program is, I'm not so sure. Today I heard a theory that like our actual existence in our minds are programs, and then it's like that like if you could create programs that would repeat our minds, you would have eternal life. I don't know.
Well, there are some people actually. Well, I don't know about that idea. But there are some people that notice that there might be ways of transporting our kind of programming to other people, and that some people have much more effective expressions of work than others.
Yeah, right, for sure. And it's just the nature of the program and how it repeats itself. But in that way, like to think about the nature of, because I like independently I think about fascism a lot and like control and governance, and I'm kind of into, I draw Hitler over and over and over again, but I think that in that way, like when you're thinking about like we create these creatures, we kill these creatures, we live, but like I would say the reason why they're like, where are you looking for the aliveness? Paige taught me about the aliveness on the internet, people looking for the life of a website, like where it is the most interactive or lifelike or
That's
organic. Yeah, she described that to me the other day, and that concept, like I think the aliveness, or like where how MySpace or Facebook begins to re-interact with itself overlap.
Have you seen Twitter?
Mm-mm.
It's very unusual. And it has a new kind of energy that's more touching because it's more atomic. In Twitter, you have very small expressions of words and ideas and text. In other sites, this is Twitter running here on the side.
Oh,
it runs all the time, and it's just little tiny snippets of words that people pump out, and it's just a stream. And it's getting close to like the atom of a social.
Right. What is the smallest amount of space that you can represent a profile, right? So on Facebook, you have 300 photos, and you have, you know, and a bunch of friends, and you have this whole wall, and each page says something, but it's so static, and it's never up to date, because, you know, no matter how much you change it, it's not telling you what exactly you're doing right then. This network asks the question, what are you doing? And that question is powerful because it can never be answered completely and fully.
Right.
You only get 140 characters to answer it. It tells your name, it tells a little tiny picture, and this is a representation of you at that moment in time and the amount of text.
It takes it every minute?
No, you don't have to update it. That's a good idea.
No. Whenever you update it.
So that's a good idea.
So the presentation of yourself online is chosen.
You're meeting time with existence, the way that reality is. Like,
well,
this is how we define material existence.
Each of us is presenting a persona,
right?
And it's some subset of who we are. We are exposing this face and this body and these words and this articulation. And what is this? What is a small slice you can still see a person through? Like if I saw just like one eyebrow, or just this tiny slice, what is the smallest slice that you can still see through? true.
Isn't it amazing when you can hear someone cough and you're not looking at them and they're far away and you're like, oh yeah, that's James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bit signaling, I can see people online and just like one bit of information at the right time, that is not enough. Cars and traffic. I can read cars so well. The hesitation, the light blinking, the slight slowness, the speed, the turning, everything.
So you're making it so you're flooding yourself so you can pick, so you can begin to, it's like data mining, so you can begin to actually see.
It's exactly.
You're flooding so you can see.
And we're so good at that data mining.
But that's a natural process. We actually, all we do is data mine.
Yeah.
That's what's like, we talk about info glut and all those things,
Yeah.
but like, since the dawn of man, we're just interchanging the information. Like in order to survive in the woods and pick out prey, like whatever you had to do, like you were still dealing with however many fluttering leaves, you know, and like picking out sound. And we're always data mining. We're always like creating the white noise so that we can see the specific thing we need.
I'm stunned by that bit signaling. I'm stunned by, like, you know, in Africa, you'll have cell phones with just like you send one bit, like one atomic bit of information. It's like yes or no, I'll buy it or not buy it or whatever. And entire networks are being built on that. Right. It's post-web, it's post-landlines. It's just tiny bit signaling, smoke signals across the landscape,
right.
saying
or
who I am.
Text. Oh,
who
yes. Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
It's signaling.
Right.
It's like the white-tailed buck that flaps up its
right.
You know,
and it's a strange intersection of like this pervasive technology moving into the globe, but only but where like the real reality has to meet the technology. Like there aren't as many.
You're talking about flocks of birds.
Yeah.
They're effectively bit signals.
Oh,
the smallest thing, the
gorgeous.
smallest hint. And the whole flock starts to pinwheel.
It's the equivalent of pheromones, but at a cyberkinetic level.
We're doing this as people. We always did it. We always have done it. But the you know, the medium is connected to some more.
Yeah.
But we're all starting to pinwheel. And I just find that kind of pretty.
Yeah. So do I. Yeah.
You know, maybe it doesn't mean anything, but it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I think that the one I always grab, I think that that's the same information that where we say like how does the flower district or whatever the rose district like arise in New York, and it's like those people, like it's that person, and it's actually like why I think anarchism is stupid.
Really?
And I'll tell you why, because it's become like a political soundbite as opposed to. But I'll say like because actually our political economy is a really, really thwarted and absurdist expression of the same function. Human beings are always doing the same thing. Where I choose to spend my money is signaling to you.
Yeah.
And it's all it is signaling. And like those flower districts arise because this store drives these people to get flowers, and then this guy who owns a house here decides, oh wow, he sells a lot of flowers, I'm going to open one downstairs, and then that's his signal, and then it just continues. It's reverberative. Like
it's funny to me that when we're looking at anchors, so when we're reading a pattern language, I used the word, I should have actually explained it. We look at things like a pattern language and other things, and what we're looking for is, as you said, the still spot, the anchors. The things that are
anchors.
The things that aren't moving as fast,
right.
That are kind of points where we can leverage against,
right.
To make kind of intellectual progress, or climb the scaffolding of this incredibly weird landscape that we're in. And everyone, and maybe it's an anchor, but it feels like almost everyone's looking for anchors to guide them on decisions they don't. Okay, so we have this problem because we're human, we're so mortal, we just can't compute everything. We have to try and kind of have rules of thumb sometimes. Mm-hmm. So, it's the whole reason we have the court system and the legal system, all that. It's all punitive punishment for things in the past that are just, rules of thumb, because we just can't compute the true reality of a situation. Two defendants come in, and the judge is trying to compute that situation. He just doesn't have the time to reason it. And maybe if he had used his real intuition, he could leap to that. But there's always this weakness in our brains, and we just can't.
I would say that one thing that I will tell you, one of my most secret loves is this documentary I saw when I was I went on a TV watching binge when I had to visit my psychotic abusive mother.
Oh,
and
you have one of those too.
And I watched TV for 6 hours. And